Thank you very much, gentlemen, and nicely done. It was a long game to draw out the series. I am joined by Perks and Sven. Congratulations on the win. You do sit in sole control of Group A. I'm going to be honest. Perks, do you feel like a winner in that series? It was slow and drawn out, and the expectation was for G2 to stomp 2-0.
Well, I do feel like a winner, of course, because we won, and I think we played pretty good around our team comps. Besides, like the game one, I think we misplayed a bit, and we got too far behind in the early game, which is partly my fault because I was sleeping, so I forgot to call that LeBlanc was missing until it was too late. And I think the meta right now is like to play slow-paced games and play for objectives and not overstep or not fight, unless you're unicorns, of course. And you can just fight and win every fight, even 4 versus 5. It doesn't really matter. So I think we played pretty good today, and I think Misfits are not expected to be stomped because they're actually a pretty good team, and yeah.
Well, definitely worked out in your favor, Sven. Game one, LeBlanc comes down, picks up a double kill, ends up chasing for a third. We heard it's because of Perks sleeping. What's it like playing from such a big deficit? Because you guys dug deep and held on for like 35, 40 minutes.
Yeah, I was just like chilling bot lane at my tower, and then suddenly there's 5 people in my lane. It's like, shit, you know, it really just sucks, but it's just like, yeah, we have to just give up 1 tower, trade towers on the other side of the map, and then just try to lane topside with a tower. Because if you go bot lane and you dive, lose tower, you must lane swap to have a tower in your lane. So just lane swap and try to not fall further behind.
Sven, taking a look at games 2 and 3. Game 2, very controlled. It really didn't feel like, you know, either team had a big advantage, though you guys were in control. Game 3, obviously, you know, sort of taking away in 35 minutes. How much does that game 1 impact your mindset going into those games for the much slower, much more coordinated play?
I think it doesn't really matter that you lose first game as long as you have like some experience in best of series. So it took like a few minutes to get a good draft going again and choose the right side, and it was fine. I think in game 2 we took a very slow game because we had a better team comp. I think like late game we have twice the DPS and more tankiness thanks to our comp. We have more tanks and more DPS, and we also have more healing with redemptions. So thanks to Ivern. So late game we would never lose. So we just played it very, very slow, and yeah.
Yeah, late game you never lose, especially when Perks' Rise is basically unkillable. Can you explain to me the Cogmore? Is that something you've seen? Is that something you expected? Because I really didn't.
Well, when Cogmore got nerfed, I think like 1 month ago or something, he's ult because he was made to be AD carry. So it's like people like Farrell can't play mid, but I guess he's just a rebel, you know. And I think Cogmore is not a very strong pick, even though he did good on it, you know. I am not denying that, but I think he was not very useful because he just gets pushed in all the time by Rise, and I can just move anywhere on the map, and he doesn't have any priority. And then in late game on level 16, yeah, he has some damage, you know, when his ult gets stacked. But I think this champ is not that good right now in this meta, and I don't think you will see that again.
All right, I hope not to, because I think an Orianna would have been a better pick. One last question just to the both of you. Let's take a look at the other group, Group B. Unicorns of Love took down H2K. Also a very long, drawn-out series. Is that a surprise to you?
Well, it's not really a surprise. I thought that anyone could take it from UL H2K. But I think H2K in Game 3 had such a good early game. They were like 3K up and took 2 turrets, and they were just destroying unicorns, and then I don't know what happened, but unicorns magic happened, and they just team fought and won the game. I think it was just massive misplay by H2K, and it could have been the other way around really easily. So I think unicorns are a really good team right now, so it's not to be underestimated.
Sven, to close this one out, what's your thoughts on UOL and H2K as the number 1 and 2 seeds in the other group?
I think there's a lot of good teams right now in both groups, actually. I think Giants also was very good yesterday against Fnatic, but in the other group, I think the strongest team looks to be UL. I mean, they're first place, right? So they must be the best team. But I think H2K UL could have went both ways. It was really close all time. So yeah, I think both teams are good, but I think we'll win against them anyways.
Well, you're going to get your chance in just a couple of weeks' time. Gentlemen, congratulations on the 2-1. Hard slugfest at the end of the day, but you close it out and you sit atop Group A. That does it for me here on the Caster Couch. We're going to head over to the Atlas desk for the post-game lobby.
Welcome to the post-game lobby. Thank you very much, Trevor. I'm joined here by Trashy and Crepo. Still, after that series, well, great interviews, been very respectful about the other group as well, and just admitting that they kind of misplayed by letting the LeBlanc get into the game previous game. And then here, as we said, was this a statement from G2, or did they just play it out cleanly, just wanting to get a win on the board? Did you not see the acceleration that you wanted to? That's what Dracos was asking.
I think they just showed that they were the better team and the smarter team overall. they didn't really do anything special.
You can't be happy if you're G2. Perks is like, oh, we're so happy. Like we
Yeah.
definitely proved that we're a good team with this win. I mean,
To be honest, I think they just
Nice impression.
they took the easy way around it. Like they didn't take any risks. They just kind of just rolled over it, and yeah, it was. This is kind of what happens if you're the better team and you don't want to risk losing.
Yeah.
I feel like
G2 was playing not to lose.
Yeah, they were playing not to lose, and if you can win by doing that, then.
But you
it's
don't
not a good
improve.
sign.
You don't improve as a team when you play not to lose. Like
Yeah.
they were not playing any risks. Like Mithy still hooks at level 5, versus a Shen who has ulti, who just proxied and just based, so he died right there. Then they're still facing left and right. They're just relying on Sven being the insane beast that he is, that he will always play consistently back range. This guy is like a monster. You can let him play for 20 hours, and he will still just play secure, and you can always rely on him to play decent. And of course, then you can play not to lose and draft Ivan really early and play super slow. And it helped that Kaká was essentially counter jungling himself. He was 3 levels down.
And I think on top of that, they also, like both Videos and Dracos were talking about that they were maybe drawing the game out too far. But to be honest, they were just had the scaling advances with the Iron and the composition they built. So they were never really in danger of getting outscaled. So they could just play it slow and set up for the objectives and win the game by that.
And for Misfits, I mean, if you lose your Nexus and you haven't died or had a kill in 20 minutes, no offense, but like, try, do something.
Yeah.
I don't care that you go in and you just get aced 5-man, because if you're going to play like against G2 Esports and you haven't done anything for 10 or 15 minutes in a row, maybe you should reconsider either your drafting strategy or your game plan.
Could we just summarize what is the main thing we want to see from Misfits is pull the trigger more, or?
Yeah, or just make something happen. It doesn't matter if it fails, because Misfits is a team that is looking at the guaranteed outcome from the play. It's like, okay, we have maybe at best a 40% success rate. And they say, okay, we don't settle for plays that have less than a 60% success rate. But the second you're behind, you will never get better odds than maybe 4 or 3 out of 10, so you gotta go for it. And if you want better odds, then you need to play a better early game, and neither of that happened.
But to be honest, like they're still a very new team, and I still remember one of the first time I was on a new team playing on the stage. You didn't really take those risks when you actually, in the back of your mind, you know that you have to take them, but you just don't actually.
You don't want to
go
be the
for
guy
it.
that
Yeah,
screws
exactly.
up.
So I think with time they will grow and they will be able to pull these plays off. So I don't think we should judge too much.
Yes, I mean, I've always been in that position as well, where you're like, I don't want to be the guy that looks like an idiot, you know, flashing in and missing a skill shot or throwing the fight. The problem is, as these seasons progress, and we're hitting season 7 now, like, I don't think the ramp-up time is there anymore for a lot of these teams. You're playing versus teams that either have a lot of established growth already or a lot of veterans in their team that are not afraid to make that decision. You don't simply have half a split anymore like you used to get to that point, because otherwise you just drop out of playoffs, and you need the ramp-up time, because once you start making these decisions, you need to then filter them and know when to go in.
Yeah, and you're up versus teams with people like Trick on it, 2-time MVP last year, and he's also our player of the series. In this one, it was quite hard for us to kind of see who stood out. You were saying, oh, well, Sven, he's doing exactly what he should. Perks had good games. Yeah, Mitty Malzahar might have not been great, but he still played a good series, so it was a difficult one.
Yeah, I mean, all of them played as they should. It was a team effort to win this one. Like, both Perks and Sven was playing very good in team fights, and the Iron kind of helped them as well. Like, I think in this game, the game could have actually shifted if in the team fight where the 3-man Orianna ult hit, if they actually were able to kill one of them, but they didn't, and then Iron is just annoying to deal with after that.
I want to quickly touch on the featured matchups that we had before and if they actually influenced anything in the outcome of the series. Ignar versus Mithy, do you think either of the performances did enough to sway it? The same for Alphari versus Expect?
I think Ignar's Thresh performance triggered the Thresh ban in game 1, and also triggered Mithy to pick up Thresh in game 3, significantly reducing impact there, because I don't think Mithy's Thresh was that great, because he probably just doesn't play that often. Because I know Mithy doesn't rank this champion very high, which means he picks it up. It's only to get a decent champion and mostly take away a better champion from Ignar. So in that sense, Ignar had some impact, but he was playing, I think, Karma game 2, where a late game he was pressing
much.
He was essentially just maybe like...
You can miss a button.
Yeah, he can literally misclick a button, and then still it's fine, because he's gonna press R and then E anyways.
I think the bigger one was that I think Misfits didn't really even challenge Expect, because they were just playing tank versus tank, and they actually had opportunities to try to put Alfari on a carry, but they just didn't want to take it. We don't know, obviously, if it's his decision, his own, or it's team decision, but I think they could at least try it. Like, after second game, it was very obvious, like, what was G2's plan in the next game as well, because it worked out so well in the second game, and I think they should have tried something different.
Especially when they just pick up double tanky core immediately with that Ivern. They go tank top. I think we should have seen maybe like a Fiora top lane from Alfari, trying to bust it open, because Misfits right now, it's excusable, it's all understandable, but they're not good enough as a late game team to play double carry composition against G2 Esports. They're just not at that level yet.
And then, like, an easy way to approach the game is like you have a carry top, and then they have an Ivern, and Ivern is not as strong as maybe like a Kha'Zix at pushing the top matchup in favor of Misfits, right? So I feel like they missed an opportunity to at least try that.
Yeah, they have to reevaluate that and take some more steps. And G2 picks up the win as well. Did the Unicorns of Love earlier, about 4 hours ago, versus H2K and our match of the week. There's been a lot said already about it. Crepo, is there anything else you want to say about these series?
Yeah, I think it's really hard to judge both these teams, because the key pivotal moments in these matches were honestly misplays from either team. Because right here, like, if Jankos doesn't go in for that kill, Unicorns of Love don't snowball. And it was, I think Jankos was actually a little bit tilted from the double invade fail. He described himself as an emotional player. He invaded Ivern, or was it Ivern or Zach, or was it the other game? But it definitely was not playing on the other.
So he probably wasn't triggered in the first game, and
probably wasn't
the second
then.
game, right? So I mean, that's obvious.
But he was definitely, in the second game, you can definitely see his decision making being different.
Yeah, and I think actually maybe I was underestimating you all a little bit. I think they showed today that they are a solid team, but I still think they have some weaknesses that I don't want to go too far into, because we play them next week. That I think we can exploit. So I'm very excited to play them, and I hope we can.
Yeah, and again, similar here, the game was pretty even, but look, this is Hylissang over engaging, and then by all means, H2K beautiful punish, and they play it out very well. But both these games were kind of decided by throws, and then the other team capitalizing. What I do want to credit the Unicorns for is they're just like unrelenting team fights. They just go in. They just like, once somebody says go, they all go. And like, that is really important from a shot calling point of view. You can refine the calls. It's really hard to make people all follow the same call when they may think, I'm not sure, I don't want to go in here, I don't want to sacrifice for the team. They're very willing to commit, and from behind, they're willing to become creative. Like that 3K goal deficit that they had, where Jankos picked up all those kills in those two turrets, most teams would have lost there. And the play that Unicorns went for, on paper, would have probably lost them even more, but they have the magic, they make it work.
And I think a lot of it comes down to like trust. They trust each other, right? They have said most of the times that they like it playing with each other. They really enjoy playing, and I think it's some of the same things that I recognize going back in Summer Split last year, that we are playing like we trust each other so much that we just, if one guy says we go here, then everyone will commit. And I think if a team has this mentality together, then they, no matter what happens in the game, they always have the chance of comeback.
Oh, it's just like in the casting team.
Oh no, it's all man for himself here.
All right, let's take a look at the updated EU standings. In Group B, obviously, there's a bit of a shift because the Unicorns of Love have taken the reins, but I think we can agree that the Unicorns of Love and HK are pretty close together there. How far are you off of that top two as Splice, Trashy?
I don't think we're that far off, honestly. I think...
2 games?
Pretty much 2 games, right? So, I mean, I think next week will be very important for us when we face up you all, and that will kind of show how if we're even far behind these guys. It's so hard to judge actually, because in practice you can play at a certain level, but if you can't translate that to the stage, then what does it really mean, right? So we definitely have the ability to play at that level, or maybe even better than these teams, but if we can't show that on stage, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and the coolest or the most annoying thing for scrims versus stage, for a lot of people that have looked at it, is that if your bot lane plays 20% more aggressive on stage and your mid lane plays 20% more aggressive and they get a kill here and there, the jungle suddenly can alter an entirely different playstyle, because suddenly they might be winning this matchup and he can invade, but when on stage everybody plays scared and plays further back, junglers as well have to play much further back, and it kind of changed everything, and everything is dependent on each other. So you really need to mimic that scrim performance as close as you can to the stage performance.
And let's hope tomorrow, when our coverage continues, every team gives 20% more than they want
Than
to.
they do in scrims.
Yes,
Yes.
there we go. So we'll have Vitality versus Origin and Giants versus Rocket. Giants versus Rocket. We've seen some good things out of the Giants and not completely bad things out of Rocket, so that could be a tight game. And Vitality, they really have to get some points if they ever want to just start going in the split.
I think Origin actually looked better
As well,
right now.
yeah.
Yeah, honestly, watching OG, I think their early game is solid. You have to respect them because of their early game. But if you can't close out some of the games they had against Duel, then it might get a little rough, right? So they definitely have the potential. I love the word. So
He complains to me for 5 minutes how he hates potential, and then he goes on analysis. Yeah, they have the potential.
No, but honestly, I think OG should win the series. They're looking better than Vitality right now. Vitality just doesn't look like they have any synergy at all, and they look lost in game. So
I agree.
Cool.
I agree.
Cool.
Awesome.
Sounds very awesome.
Across
Don't sound tired at all.
Across the Atlantic, the NALCS is currently underway. Spoiler alert, Cloud9 just 2-0'd Immortals, and Phoenix 1 went 2-0 over Team Envy. I heard Dardoch was popping off all over the place. So you gotta go.
Lost.
Oh yeah, well, it was also not serious because we just saw a highlight.
We saw the highlight.
We saw
reel.
some highlights.
Unfortunate.
But still a lot of action going on over there, so hop on over to the NALCS stream, because for us here, it is time to hop off the EULCS. Thank you very much. Thank you, Trashy, for helping us through this long,
what a great
but
day,
entertaining
A
game.
lot of league action.
Fantastic.
A lot of great play.
Yeah. All right. Be sure to join us tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central European Time for the conclusion of Week 2 of the Spring Split. Good night.
Good night.
Exile still alive. Looks to be jumped on here by Odo. Shut down by Odo one day. Flotus doesn't find a kill, but the Shumpo does. Exile's rooted down. Shumpo's over. Ash Arrow locks him out. That's a triple. Exile's looking for the quadra. Slowly, slowly, the Nexus goes down.
Nice, good job, man.
In a second, it's Exile that's got the turret aggro. That's going to turn to Chachi. Wow, Chachi goes down. Exile, he forgot about the minions. Here comes Xerxes. Let's bounce. Rips H2K apart. Two of them are down.
Trade lives for the lives, we will win in the end.
Top Shockwave is decent, but that's the shutdown. Yankos got the double, looking for the cripple and the quadra.
I killed that one already.
Down to the bottom lane, Samex is caught out. It's a 3-on-3. Both junglers available. Xerxes gets kicked backwards. Level 6 for Yankos. That's a double kill for Yankos. Aggressive flash. Exile is sent packing. Here comes Xerxes. Gets another. Yankos in the back line. H2K are routed and they're running for their lives. There's no one left alive.
Taken down, that's the double for Power of Evil. Wants to make it more, goes in for the triple. Misfits crushing G2. Maybe expecting a little bit more of an engage. Expect is gonna go down, but no.
Good job. Good bless.
Go, Eustis, go.
We're going.
We're going.
Getting knocked out of that in the end. Now the fight can.
We have Marco.
I'm really thinking. No, it's the Ivern and Hansama getting shot across the board. G2, one more team fight to close it out in style and evening up the series.
Nice.
Looking for the third auto to knock him up. Now looking to knock him out of the fight. Sven! Flash forward, Cacao goes down. To close out the series, 2-1 in their favor. Right about now.
Need to fight it!